Hello everyone, this is Phil Vinogradov with a quick tutorial for you on how to use the Home Access Center, affectionately known as the HAC, to update your demographic information. So the very first thing we do is we come to the district website, we go over to Quick Links, and we come over to the Home Access Center. We click on this graphic to log into the Home Access Center. So I have it open over here. And the first time you log in to the Home Access Center, you will be provided with your username and password, typically upon registration, and that username and password can be provided for you and reset by your building secretary. That manual reset is done for security reasons, although once you've logged in and you've changed your password, there is a series of steps you can take so that you can reset your own password, and I'll show you how to do those. So right now I'm going to log in as a fictional parent. There we go. And so I've signed in as Richard Parker, and I am prompted right away to put in a new password. There we are. And here I am, I've logged in, and in this case, Peter Parker, my son, is a third grader. So I see the classes that he's taking, but they're really all with the same teacher. If you had a child that was in 6th grade, 7th grade, 9th grade, 12th grade, you would see their different classes here, the various teachers here. I'd be able to click and check on their grades as well. And so here would be the report card. For my child, it looks a little bit different for elementary and secondary, but essentially it's an update of the current grades and transcript for the child. And then under registration would be all the demographics for your student, including their transportation. So this is where at the start of the school year you can find out the teacher, homeroom, and what the transportation will be. So where the bus stop will be, its location, its start time, the contact information we have on file, right? And then over here we have this update registration. So let's go and take a look there. So at the start of the school year, we typically send home a large stack of papers, and those papers have demographic registration information that needs to be updated and confirmed. And then in addition, we also send home a large packet from our PTOs and PTAs, and they use that information to create a school directory that's then disseminated, and students can use it for play dates and setting up for a bar and bat mitzvahs and birthday parties, etc., etc. And so instead of having redundant sets of information, we'll bring it online, streamline the paperwork by having parents update this information over the summer, and then if they need to make changes during the school year. So let's launch this right now for Richard. Before we go and leave this area, I would like to point out the My Account part for Richard here. So for all parents, you can go to My Account. You can change and update your password, but most importantly, you can put in challenge questions. So if you forget your password, you can come to the Home Access Center, you can put in your email and have an email sent to you, which will bring you to a page where you answer the challenge questions. If you correctly answer the challenge questions, you'll be able to reset your password. This way you won't have to call the building secretary at your school. So if your child goes to Fort, normally you would call the Fort Washington secretary to update your password, but if you do this piece, you can do it on your own. Great. All right, so let's come back over here to registration. We'll come over here to update that registration. And here we go. So when you first go to update your registration, and again, it's important to get this done before the school year starts, and you'll be asked to update it every summer. You'll quickly come online, and you will see here's the current information. This first bit we can't change, right? So if any changes needed to be made here, you would have to contact the building secretary. The next is a confirmation of the address and phone that we have on file. This information, again, we can't edit, but if there was a change in your residency during the school year, during the summer, whatever, you can upload documents here at the end, and I'll show you how to do that. So if you've relocated from one part of the district to another, if one of the parents relocates to a new residence and the child moves there, and that's the primary residence, that information can be updated here by uploading those proof of residency documents. This student phone number that is listed here is the primary phone number associated with the student. So it's not the student's cell phone number, it's the primary number that we will use to when contacting the student or sending out robocalls. Here we get into the updating of contact information. So we have listed here for Peter Parker, Mary, the mom, Richard, the dad, and then we have these two friends of the family or relatives that have been listed as emergency contacts. And we can adjust the priority of these contacts. So right now Mary gets contacted first, but maybe we want Richard to get contacted first instead. We can add contacts here as emergency contacts, guardians, or other. And we can edit any of this information. So if we click here on Mary, we want to edit that information for Mary. We can adjust whether we want to put in a home phone instead of a work phone. We could add a phone. So I could click add a phone, select the type of phone. Maybe it's a second cell phone. Maybe she has a work cell phone and a personal cell phone. Maybe we want to add a home number here. We could put in that home number, etc., right? But I will delete that phone right now. This is her email. If I wanted to change the email that she's using or Mary's using, we can make that change right here. We can cancel or we can save that. So I'll cancel that for now. That comes in play here under additional information. So the types of contact that you choose here, cell phone, home phone, email address, are then referenced here in the additional information. So at the start of the year, we typically have students and parents acknowledge our acceptable use policy. This is a link through to our acceptable use policy on our technology page. And once you've reviewed that, you can select yes. Here we also take safeguards to protect student data and privacy. Those practices are outlined here. Once you've reviewed them, you can select yes, I've reviewed them. Next, we get into our photo and name disclosure of kids in our publications. So the school district has two types of publications. Public publications, our website, newspaper, etc., and our internal publication, years books, internal school mailings, etc. So we have a scenario: child is participating in the science fair. They win first place. We want to celebrate them in the newspaper and on the school website and email home to families. We have to make a selection as to what's okay, right? So for me, photo and name, public and internal publications. As a parent, I'm okay with that. Or maybe I want just photo only for public and internal. Or maybe I want no public publications, just internal, or no inclusion in publications altogether. All right, so as a parent, you make a selection here. Our PTO and PTA, they publish a directory. It contains student names, grades, not how they're doing in school, but their grade level, right? So 9th grade, 7th grade, 3rd grade. Their addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses of the parents, right? Not phone numbers of the kids. So do I want to be included in that PTO, PTA directory, right? Used for play dates, parties, etc. So I can select, yes, please include me. Is it okay for them to publish the address? Maybe I just want my phone number and email, but not my address. But, right, we can say yes or no. Or do I have two addresses? Right, we don't have two addresses, so that's a no. PTO, but if you did, you can put that in. It will pull from the information above. PTO, PTA will publish the Guardian 1 phone number. That's fine. Let's go ahead and put in Guardian 1 likes their cell phone. Guardian 2 prefers to get calls at home. Or maybe Guardian 2 prefers to get calls at work. And this one prefers to get calls on their personal cell phone. PTO, PTA will publish Guardian 1 email address. That's fine. Yes. Right? Yes or no? Do you like to get the email? And we save. And then finally we come down here to documents. This is where if I had to make any kind of proof of residency or a custody agreement or additional registration information that was required, I could upload those documents here. And then they are reviewed by our school registrar. Finally, parents are asked to give permission to call one of the above listed emergency numbers that you've put in here if they're unable to contact you in case the child has an emergency or illness at school. In addition, if emergency medical treatment is needed, that you give permission for that treatment to be carried out. So there's been an accident at school, the child needs emergency medical care, maybe they need to get transported to a hospital, and this is giving the permission for that to happen if you cannot be reached. You may then print or submit and once I submit, I'm done, and those preferences are now saved. So every summer you will be sent an email saying it's time to update your preferences, but all the preferences are saved. So once you've done this once, it's saved for that student. If you have multiple children, you need to do this process for each of the kids. And so you'll do it for each of the kids. The good thing is that in years moving forward, those preferences are saved for each of your children. And it's just one time to go in and tweak any changes or say yes to all of them, and you're good to go. All right, thank you very much. Remember, if you have any trouble getting into the HAC, to please contact the secretary for the school which your child attends. Thank you.